Crisis on Infinite DC offices. I guess that's what we have with DC All In. It gets really weird as they keep promoting this. You could tell that there's a nervous air in the room, that these guys don't actually have confidence in their products. They kind of know they're already even botching it right away. It's a problem. Now, DC All In is comprised of a few different components that are all jumbling up into one thing. It's not a line-wide event or anything like that. It's quote, an initiative, whatever that means. But it is a soft reboot for everything. And some things get rebooted, some things not. And there's no real consistent editorial direction. There seems to be a few titles doing one thing, another bunch of titles doing the other thing, and just confusion for the brand all the way around, just like everything the comic industry has done in recent years. You know, they got to stop this multiverse crap. Even though, like, there's a new absolute universe, you don't have to copy Marvel just because they're doing the Ultimate Universe. You just got to make your main books good, and that's the thing that both these companies don't seem to understand. I don't understand why Action Comics, Detective Comics, Batman, Amazing Spider-Man, I don't know why those are not the highest priority to make the best books out there. But for some reason, they're just not. They just think that the comic folk are going to buy those no matter what. So they focus on other gimmicks to try to restart things. And it's getting really tired. I think most comic people are sick of it at this point. And I think Scott Snyder kind of knows that the writing's on the wall based on some new comments. This is not like a promotion I'm seeing where they seem like they're confident, like they seem like, gosh, this is going to be awesome. These stories are going to be amazing. It is something where it looks like it's going to be a disaster in sales again. I don't see this going well, and I don't think Scott Snyder does either based on what we saw this morning. We'll get into this in just a moment. My name's John Delarose. I'm the most trusted name in comic book news, guys. This is my Fandom Pulse, where I report all the things that the mainstream media won't, so make sure to subscribe to this. It's in the description below. I'm also a comic creator, and I'm very excited about what we're doing. This is the Hidden Emperor, Ayla Rin sci-fi graphic novel. And with this book, I'm so confident in it, I'm actually launching a full line out of this. So we're going to have a spin-off book coming out next. I'm working on other things, and I'm just excited because everybody who read the first book to Overmind said it was fantastic. The sales on this so far are 40% higher than they were on the first book. And you can read them all separately because they're all standalone adventures. I'm not doing the mistakes of the mainstream comic book industry. So if you like sci-fi, if you like action adventure, this is going to be the book for you. I am trying to replace Star Wars, Warhammer 40K, things that have gone by the wayside with an excellent world with some great lore that we're building here and some wonderful characters. I hope you'll join us. This is a passion, and it's working out great, and this is something that you'll really, really love if you're a comic book fan. So grab this in the description below. Support our channel by doing so, and I appreciate you guys for being there. All right, so absolute Batman writer Scott Snyder cast doubt on DC Comics surviving for 2 more years. When I first started writing this article, I was actually writing it just cast doubt on his absolute universe. But as I read into it more, I realized, yes, this guy's not thinking that DC might be around much longer. That's the thing that I took away here. And DC has been on the wayside for a while. We had industry rumors earlier this year that they were talking with Robert Kirkman to like license out some of their properties because they're just kind of done with it. And that's been talked about before. There's been rumors that DC's flirting with collapse over the last several years. And they have asked these things. They've toyed around with it as a business. Warner Brothers, of course, under David Zaslav, has no tolerance for this kind of thing anymore. So the DC All In initiative is a desperate gambit. And this is happening across the comic industry, not just here. They're restarting all their lines because sales are poor. They try to get the all-new #1 collector's edition going. They then brag about sales because variant covers drive that for that first issue in order to try to get you excited and pretend like they're a success for a bit. Sales immediately drop off, and we're seeing books getting canceled earlier and earlier. Steve Orlando, who writes for Marvel Comics, actually said a couple years back that, like, you know, it's very difficult in this environment for a book to reach issue 12 even. So at that point, you know that things are not going well because that's like 1 year of content, not doing very well. And so everything's been dropping off. Thinking Critical reported the other day that DC's books, 66% of them right now are under the cancellation line for sales. Painful right there. And that's a big, big number. and 2/3 of your books are just not selling that well. And they only have 51 books out these days. Their line's been cut back drastically for a long time, and the ones that are above the cancellation line all have Batman in the title. It's like they go, oh, they should really just do every book at this point, Green Lantern and Batman, right? Just to try to get people in, right? Because they've ruined a lot of their books. Let's be honest. It's just been a train wreck the way they've treated their characters. So with this, people are jumping off even more during the summer, which is kind of weird because since DC's announcing a reboot after the summer, people are like, okay, these storylines don't matter. Maybe I'll come back in October. And what happens is when you get out of that habit, people actually forget to come back. You lower the amount of customers. You don't gain a lot through this stuff. I was listening to, again, Thinking Critical this morning. I had Perch on, and both of them were talking about just like how these jumping on points gimmicks like really don't do much for people. It doesn't really move the needle long term. And that's been the case here forever. And that's why they're all in. And all in is weird terminology for this stuff. So you're looking at Absolute Batman here. Again, it's like they're relaunching some lines. They're doing the Absolute line. They're starting all storylines. Some of them aren't relaunching. It's just a muddied mess as to what this actually is. And it's all the same creators working for DC that were already working for DC. So you got Scott Snyder, you got Joshua Williamson, you've got Jason Aaron. They're all on DC books right now. You got Mark Waid. Like, what's different about it? What's all in? Well, I mean, were they just not writing good stories before, and now they're really gonna try to write good stories? That really just says that your brand's been really bad over the last few years. It's admitting to your audience like, we screwed up, I guess. But all in also has another negative connotation to it because it's the poker chip situation where you're going to the table at the end of the night, you're pushing all your chips in, and that's what we got at this point with Absolute Batman. Which, gosh, look at this. Now Scott Snyder's already trolling online, saying, "Hey, all you people mad about this, it's just making the logo and all that bigger." Which it doesn't even look like a bat. It's a disaster. I mean, they shouldn't have done this. Honestly, I don't know what they're thinking. But he's coming out here. This morning is where it gets really interesting. So somebody says, is Nick going to be drawing every single issue? And they're talking about the art on Absolute Batman. Scott Snyder says, Nick is the artist. It's an ongoing, so we have a couple years planned. If you guys pick it up, please pick it up. Please pick it up or this is going to get canceled. And if you're saying that 2 months before this comes out as your promotion, that's not a good sign. He's saying right away that DC's ready to quit this. And DC already has quit initiatives in the past. Remember when they were spawning new superheroes out of Scott Snyder's Dark Knight's Metal thing? Well, all of those books have been canceled already, and they didn't even last a year, as I mentioned. So, crazy stuff. DC's launched a bunch of initiatives over the years, and it's very much the same thing. Even Dawn of DC didn't go very long. Nothing seems to change. Nothing seems to matter. And that's the main problem that these guys are going to have. Is it going to matter now? I mean, they literally said after the 5G summit when they were announcing that they're kind of abandoning continuity, that they're going to let creators do their own thing. And when they told audiences that, there was really no reason to care anymore. And so every writer comes in, they start their new thing, they get their number one. It's a completely different tone and scenario than the last. Nobody seems to pay any attention to what came before anymore. And it doesn't matter. If Green Lantern died last issue, well, you could just come back this issue. Doesn't impact anything. And readers are kind of sick of that because if you can't have characters develop, the stories don't matter. They don't have an impact. And they kind of know this. So what's going to happen with the Absolute line? Well, Scott Snyder has it planned out for 2 years, but DC might not even go that long. They might not even last a year if you guys picked it up. Ha, 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 ha. And then, of course, they're going to do those one-issue breaks with guest artists between arcs. Those issues, those filler issues, are disasters for comics. It'd be better just take a month off. I don't know why they don't do that at this point because having that consistent art all the way through really is a good deal. And having somebody else come in really just changes the tone of the book drastically. And those issues just are always painful to read. It's like telling people, we have an issue that does not matter. Try to buy it anyway because it says Batman on it. It's really a cynical thing for the comic industry that I never see in any other industry other than this. So with this, he gives one more time. So somebody says, so this will be an ongoing for the foreseeable future if it all goes well with corresponding sales. Scott Snyder says, 100%. We're both committed for a couple years, at least so long as you guys keep us employed, smiling face. So with the smiley face, with the ha-ha, these are passive-aggressive, scared reactions. People don't typically post these kind of things unless they are really, really nervous. And he said he's nervous before about this launch. This is saying one more things, and this is where I got into it at the beginning of the video, where I said I thought it was about the Absolute book, but keep us employed. It implies DC might be shutting down if this doesn't work. And that's what I've heard from my industry insiders about All In, that they truly are all in. This is their last-ditch effort. They don't have any other ideas, which is ridiculous because they're just using the same ideas over and over and over again and recycling things. The comic industry is ridiculous. Why would you just put the same people on the same books, shuffle things up a little bit, and then call it new? I mean, something's not working. Something's got to give. Why don't you actually go all in and try something different? Why don't you hire those blacklisted people that you've pissed off half the country with by putting all your identity politics into stuff for years? Why don't you try something like that? Because they can't. It's all about the politics first. And it's kind of a half all-in initiative, but they know it's not going to work. They know that there's problems. Scott Snyder's kind of implying here that this is dire, dire straits, and DC might not last much longer at all. Wow. I can't believe he tweeted this stuff out in promotion of this book. It seems like just an insane thing to do. You always want to display confidence when selling. I should help Scott. Scott, I don't dislike the guy or anything. You got to display confidence when selling. Very, very important. It's like number one first marketing thing to do. If you can't do that, that's not going to instill faith in the customers. And DC's already at a spot which you guys know, where the customers have lost all faith in the line. All right, leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit the like and subscribe button. Do check out The Hidden Emperor. This is much better than anything on the stands at DC right now. That's how you do it, Scott. I promise you that. You're going to love this. Thank you guys so much. Get us to 400 backers. We're almost there. We're almost at 30K. I would love it. It's in the description below for you guys. Please back it.